are we rolling?
All right, down we go.
This is Radio Tetris International, Postcard from Poprad.
I think it's a bizarre idea.
Well, it doesn't sound broken.
We've had a bit of a rewind.
Ian, I've got something to say. I was waiting for my moment.
Lee and I have lots of fun when we do these funny little things that we do.
In all honesty, I don't get
It'd
it.
be like a menage a trois.
I'm actually sitting here in my scanties.
Now see what you've done, Rachel.
I've got to tell you, though, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. It's because you mended the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
That'll be us then. Radio Tetris International, Postcard from Poprad. I'm Eric Wiltshire at the base of the glorious Tetri Mountains. You've got to come here on holiday. Who's got a phone on? Someone's got a phone on near the equipment. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
And it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Good afternoon to Roy and G. What else have we got on here? Let's look at the top grid first. Stephen and who else? I said hello to Roy, didn't I? There's somebody called Novak, which could be the second name, not the first name, because that's a Slovakian name. Hi to Syed. Angelica's recording us again. You are a sad person, Angelica. You really are. Grace and Chaz is there. David the Panda. I know where you're from, because you're from down under. Safari fans here as always. I wish I knew your name. And Sean and Dave's here already. And with no further ado, we move across to none other than Mr. Lee Banks.
How do you do?
I do well, thank you.
So do I, actually. As you well know, we have something to talk about that is so tragic, don't we? Oh, man, one of my friends.
I know. But before all of that, we've got to say hello to Rach.
Hello, Rach.
Hello.
Sorry I wasn't there last week.
You sound lovely today.
Yeah, you do sound lovely today.
You sound very sexy.
Well, thank you. I didn't sound anything. Last week, I opened my mouth and nothing flew out. That's probably,
a bad thing. That's gone down the toilet already, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know, Rach. Thank you.
Good afternoon to Steve, who says good afternoon all.
Good afternoon, Steve. You're going to behave yourself this week?
No, you won't.
Good.
And also, we've got to say hello, who's in the studio. It's none other than a guest from the Poprad English Club. Susanna, hello.
Hello.
Hello, thank you. And I was going to say welcome, thank you, and welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for welcoming me.
If you want to say that. You're all welcome.
Is this a pirate station?
Yeah, you said it's a pirate station, yeah.
You have to hold the microphone up like that.
Oh, right.
I think you just flagged up some trouble with that remark.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Now, before we start, we've got some things to say. Rach, are you ready?
Are you ready, Rach?
yes.
Richard is on a round the world tour at the moment, and he said on a message to me on Facebook, "Is the lady from Australia still on the show?" So I said, "Yes." "Is she in Melbourne?" "Yes." "Can I meet her?" I said, "No, of course not. Don't be silly. That's daft. You don't want to do that."
No, you don't.
So, anyway, we're going to try and hook up a listener travelling around the world listening to us who will eventually meet Rachel.
Yay!
And I've only known him for about 25 years.
Nobody wants to meet me. This is very exciting.
Have you got hair now, Rach?
Yes, I do. I had a haircut last week.
You had a haircut
my
after being shaved? That
I
sounds
had a
terrible as
haircut.
well, sorry.
I had to tidy it up because you know what? It was all growing back at the same length, and let's call a spade a spade. I look like a dunny brush.
I thought you were going to say you look like what Uncle Fester out of Thingamajiggy.
Yeah, if you put a dunny brush on him.
Adam's Family.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Yeah. You could have had your head bejazzled.
Stop it.
But you could. Nothing wrong with that.
It looks resplendent. There was a photo on Facebook of me with a bunch of guys from a boy band, and I had the same barber as one of them. I reckon.
Well, obviously, Steve is looking at Susanna already. He's such a lush. That Steve. He's such a lush.
He's not a lush.
He's a big flirt.
He's a flirt. He's not a lush. Steve, he's saying you're a
No,
drunk.
I can prove he's a lush. Right, ready? Here we go. Glad to see you have a pretty face in the studio for once.
Thank you.
And,
I mean, Lee being back.
I'm here every week, Steve.
And Rach, he says also, I want a signed pic of Rach.
With no hair.
Oh, I can probably arrange that.
Well, there you go then, you see.
Not unless he gets one
A
of me and
current,
you.
you mean a current photo? Because that's not worth having.
It is.
Oh, Rachel.
I'll send you an old one when I was actually attractive.
But you are now.
You're beautiful, Rachel.
Oh,
I
bless,
met you.
thanks.
I know you're beautiful.
Yeah, because we see you.
We've been with you.
You've been with me.
There's just a little more of you to hug now. That's all.
That's
Oh,
a terrible
there's
thing
so
to say.
much more.
Apologise now,
No,
Mr.
no.
It's a nice
Wiltshire.
thing.
That is not a nice thing
true.
to say to a young lady.
It's nice. She was
No,
like a
it's
stick
all right.
insect before.
That's better, thank you. Yes, you're like a stick insect, Rachel.
She was before.
It was a stick
He's a
insect.
very rude man.
It's more like 20 stick insects all taped together.
Yeah, Stevie's just crawling, says Dave. I quite agree.
No, he's not. He's genuinely lovely. I just don't like his politics.
And we've got to say, oh gosh, I've forgotten his name now.
Who?
Was it Franco?
Did you?
I'm sorry, sir, if I've got your name wrong. The Italian gentleman. What happened, boys and girls? We went to the Poprad English Club, Lee and I, and a few others, and I went out for a ciggy, like I do, because I'm good like that. And this taxi driver came up and he's sort of gesticulating to me. It's a taxi for me? No. So nobody came out. So I walked into the wine bar and shouted out, "Taxi!" I'm just doing public information service, aren't I? Yeah. And this guy comes over, shakes my hand and says, "Oh, Eric, we've been looking at you all evening," and I didn't realise they had, but Lee told me they had afterwards.
No, they were looking at me and they kept saying, "Who's he sitting with Lee?"
Yeah. He obviously got my name right. He said, because you're Eric, and we listen to RTI all the time. It's wonderful. So thank you very much again.
Very
You're
nice.
wonderful.
Well, was he Italian?
Yes.
No taste.
What, for you?
Italian. I was married to one for 7 years, believe me or
Well,
no.
he did say he emits some parts on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays.
He doesn't take a ride. That's terrible.
Your girlfriend is saying, this is our Jessie, Rachel is beautiful with 2 love hearts.
Yeah.
Oh, Jess, that's just because you want me to stop saying your boyfriend's a toddler at work. You won't get that.
Is she a big Jessie?
That's an in-joke.
Big Jessie. Oh,
Thank you, Jessie. I love you too.
We love you, big Jessie.
Are we actually going to do a programme today?
No, stuff it.
Sod it. You know,
Yeah,
because-
let's just
No, it's
talk.
all about the... We should just do a program one time that's only hellos.
Yeah, just a lot. Let's do all hellos.
Well, we're doing quite well. We're doing quite well already, but it just sounds a bit sort of sycophantic at the moment to me.
I could do
No, it doesn't.
Morrison's
We're
How I
lovely,
Love
and we
You.
should tell ourselves that daily.
So anyway, thank you ever so much, Step. And there was somebody...
Susanna's dancing. Should we do it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at this poster in the studio.
Which poster?
Jim Morrison.
You like Jim Morrison?
Of course, I love.
love you. Won't you tell me your name? Hello.
No, hang on. This is starting to sound like the breakfast show from Australia as well. But there you
Oh,
go.
yes.
Which is wonderful. Hello to Graham Wilson.
Hello, Graham.
Mitchell's in.
Excuse me, he's my friend.
He says, don't believe anybody. I quite agree. Otto is with us as well. And Mitchell wants to say, hello, Eric and co. I like
Thanks.
your style,
What's a
Mitchell.
co? What's that? You a co?
My name's Co.
We are the co.
You're not Sebco, are you?
No, but that's all right, because usually they just say hello, Eric, so I can deal with Co.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
all
That's
right.
all right. That's okay. And there was somebody else I've got to say hello to, whose name eludes me at the moment as well.
Can I say hello to somebody then?
If you wish.
Hello, Dorothy.
Hello, Dorothy.
No, I'm not talking to her.
When was her birthday?
Oh,
I was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Dorothy.
Yes, it was her birthday.
Yeah,
Yes.
98. 98.
No, she's not.
Isn't she? How old
No,
is she?
92, I think.
She's 73. You're so rude again.
Am I really?
No, she's 88. That's quite old, you know. That's 2 fat ladies, Rach.
well,
That's you and Big Jess.
as previously discussed, I know all about that. But
Oh, dear.
I know what it... Oh, gosh. It's a gentleman... I know he's from Mexico. He's from Mexico.
He's from Mexico.
He's from Mexico.
Is he a drug
and he
dealer?
was on the social media this morning saying thank you very much to RTI. He listens all the time. Thank you, kind sir. I will try and remember your name. Graham says, oh, very good, Graham. I like your style, Graham. Graham Wilson says, hi, guys, and Rachel.
thank you.
So,
Thanks,
no,
Graham.
excuse me. What about Susanna?
Well, I think she's
She's a guy. You're a guy.
Oh, no, after my haircut, I could be mistaken for one of the guys.
So we're 4 guys.
No, I think she's guys in the colloquial term in English. Because Susanna would be one of the guys.
In disguise?
Yes.
Not in disguise.
Like a mate.
You mean like
a mate?
Not like Judy in disguise.
You know what? I'll tell you something really quickly. Really quickly, and I'll say it as briefly as possible, but really amusing. People tend to call us at work. People tend to call us the ladies, and I don't want to be called ladies because that is just a toilet.
Ah.
So I don't like being referred to as ladies. So
why don't you like being called a lady?
Because it sounds like a toilet. Hello, ladies. We go to the ladies. Go to the ladies and have your ablutions.
Play with words. When they say it next time, you say, "Why do I want to go to the laddies?" That'll get them.
So Jessie doesn't say it anymore.
But I like being called a gentleman.
But you're not. That's why you like it.
Jessie knows it irritates me beyond words.
Am I a gentleman?
She says, "Goodbye, ladies," and right.
Hang on, you're all talking all over each other. Stop it a minute. I didn't realise that Lee was a friend of Dorothy. Now, that's stretching a point.
Who's that?
Steve.
Yes,
we move on, because did we know that Freddie Starr has died? There are rumours. Yes, we do. It's according to reports at the moment, because there hasn't been an official statement.
No, it has. It's been confirmed.
Yeah, I know, but there's not been an official...
Yeah, there has.
All right. Just be pedantic then, why don't you? Fabulously funny guy.
He was.
Incredibly funny. And you know him.
I did know him. He's dead now, so I don't. But I did know him quite well, in as much as I'd met him a few times and interviewed him. And a lot of people had bad reports about him in his private life. He was very bad-tempered, very awkward, very nasty. A lot of people said he drank a lot. He didn't drink hardly anything at all. No. And but I met him a few times, and the problem with Freddie Starr was that he was exactly the same in life as he was on stage.
That's right.
Yeah.
The only time I ever met him was, what was it? He did Celebrity or something? One of those.
Celebrity, Get Me Out of It.
Something like that. And I was back in the UK at the time, and I got an invite from my mate at Channel 5.
Yeah.
Or Channel 4, whatever it is. I can't remember. Anyway, they got this little house where they all go to.
Yeah.
Up in North London, yeah. And so I got an invite. And do you know what? He was the nicest bloke ever. But, as you say...
Just insane.
He was just an outright comedian all the time.
All the time. And that was the problem. He never let up. And also...
And pranks. He was
pranks. That was the problem. The pranks, because you wanted to punch him.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
He just made me laugh.
But he was
crying.
very funny. And it was very sad, all the trouble he had when he was falsely accused of sexual assault.
That's why he went to Spain in the end.
Well, he lost his house. £7 million it cost him.
Yeah.
So for somebody to make that claim against him. Lost his house, ended up living in Spain. He became very, very overweight, very, very ill.
He was big at the end, wasn't he?
But he chain smoked all the time till the end. And one of the last jokes he pulled, actually, one of the last pranks he pulled was on Twitter, where he stuck cigarettes up his nose, down his ears, he put 10 cigarettes in his mouth, and that was just Freddie Starr, wasn't it? Right at the end.
Eric, remember, I used to work together with lots of women. He's such a lucky boy. Graham Wilson. And Susanna is right. We used to refer to everyone as guys.
We did, guys.
Apart from if you were in a media circus in London, when everybody was love or darling. Oh,
Which
God.
actually, when we used to call people lavvies, that was the same as ladies, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's a lavvy.
Yes,
it's a toilet.
Same difference. Anyway, Bobby Davro says, I've just heard that Freddie Starr has died, and he was one of the funniest men I've ever seen. We so concur with you, Robbie. Bobby, and he's looking a bit old as well. Why are all these people old now? I'm getting panicky about myself. And Jim Davidson said, just heard the news. Freddie Starr was the greatest. And Jim Davidson, thank you, because you do so much for our military.
Yeah, true.
Along with our patron, Jan Talensky.
Mm-hmm.
Jim and Jan do things together. And it's just fabulous what you do for the guys that go out there and never get any credit.
Yeah.
And I just think that's absolutely amazing. Talk of those that don't get credit, Leslie Kurzweil, he was a POW in World War II, and he actually travelled miles by foot in freezing temperatures from Poland to the Allied lines. And what a lot of, I've mentioned it here before, and what a lot of people don't know, in this part of Slovakia, just underneath Poland, was an enormous resistance group, and they would get RAF people, they would get all sorts of people who were potentially going to be imprisoned back through these series of mountain ranges, through tunnels and caves, and get them to Switzerland.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were just the most amazing people everywhere. And he was actually in the Royal Berks, the Royal Berkshire Regiment.
The people you're talking about actually formed the equivalent to a makeshift city, like a ramshackle city, right in the heart of the forest where nobody could find them. Ultimately, they did get found now and again, but they were absolutely heroes.
They were just fantastic. I've never met any of the resistance people themselves, but I have met children of the resistance people. They've shown me the photographs, and it's just fabulous. To the Slovaks and the Poles that did that, thank you so much. You're just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Over to Lee we'll throw this over to Rach, I think. Louis Eriksson, Rach.
Louis Eriksson. Well, this is sad. I've got to tell you, I'm very sad about this. This is a lovely lady who became the pin-up girl, I guess, or the emblem of the Bobby Soxer generation. You guys would remember that. She's about 90, so you guys would remember that.
Silence, didn't you? What's the Bobby Soxers?
Yeah.
The Bobby Soxers were those girls who tuned in during their, off time, and they're literal Bobby Soxers.
Can you say hello to Gordon L, please?
Hello, Gordon L.
There you go. You've done, you see, Gordon. We've done it for you. And because I'm too young to understand any of this, Rach.
No, you're not. You're the same vintage as her. She was 91 when she died.
I'm not 91. You cheeky little mare.
And he's still alive.
This would have been around the time where Uncle Lee and Eric would have been, I guess, about 30 or 40, and then.
What did she just say?
What are you, 100,
Excuse me.
180, 190 years old, the two of you? But no, they used to swoon and say things like, "How dreamy," and stuff like that.
Right.
The 1950s films I've seen.
Yeah.
My dad had them. Sure, those films.
Your dad wasn't called Adam.
No, had those films, those funny old films.
Oh, right, did he indeed?
The lovely Frank Sinatra era when he was, Ocean's whatever and all that.
Ocean's 11.
Yes, one. I couldn't remember which number it was because George Clooney ruined it all by making three of them.
Actually. Yeah, you're right. That was with Frank Sinatra, wasn't it? The original.
Just a couple of mentions.
Danny Ocean.
Here we go. A couple of mentions. Gordon says, "Hello, I'm from Germany." Well, good on you.
Good on you.
Can you say hello in Germany?
No, yes, I go to flip and flop and muck and spread it.
You just say hello.
Did you just say hello in German?
You say hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
I can be romantic to you, Gordon.
What?
Du bist mein kleiner Kartoffel. Du bist mein Spiegelgesicht.
Would you buy a used car from this man?
You just called him.
Potato.
You can't say that, Uncle Lee.
No,
your
you
grasp
can't.
of languages is dreadful. You just called him a syphilitic donkey.
Here we go. There's more insults pouring in. You guys would remember her. She's only 90.
There you go.
Oh!
Is that Mr. Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. On you, Steve.
Matthew says, I just want to say thanks for the birthday message on the 30th of April and some kisses. Matthew, you're very welcome. We like to do that. We like to do that. Gordon's laughing at your German, by the way, Lee, with funny little smiley faces. We move on.
Don't miss out, Lord Toby Jug.
I haven't yet.
But you've given him a little thing.
I haven't done a little thing for Lord Toby Jug. The eccentric who stood us in general elections for the monster we need them now. The monster raving loony party with good old David Search. He was nuts.
Well, that's the thing.
He was nuts.
I knew both of them too. And they were both rolled the bend. Lord Toby Jug, he was so funny. And it's
David Such was just nuts. Even when he was, I'm trying to think, 25... nearly 30 years ago, we both frequented the same radio station.
Yeah.
And David Such was still bonkers.
Of course he was. He was the same as Freddie Starr in his own way.
Yeah.
But actually, he was quite a good rock and roll performer as well.
Yeah,
actually, so was Freddie Starr.
Actually, you're quite right. Duet, Freddie Starr, David Such would have been amazing.
As what?
A rock and roll sort of duet.
It would have been in a way,
Yeah, it would have been. Absolutely fab. Because they were just barking mad. Didn't have... Yes, David Such did have records out, Steve, you're quite right.
Yes.
He had quite a few top 10 hits.
What was gone? I bet you can't do it.
No, I can't do it. And the funny thing is, he fell out with the BBC over something, and then he went, OK then, we'll have my own radio station, we'll call it... what was it? Such Radio Such it was called, that's right.
Yeah.
And it was on an old World War II Akak fort in the middle of...
didn't really like... Oh, right.
Yeah, it was in the just in the sort of edge of the Thames estuary towards the English Channel. And he set up a radio station. It didn't last very long because it was typical David Such mechanism, where he would go out and sit there for a few days playing stuff with his gruff voice. And honestly, really gruff voice. When he was on the radio. I don't know if it was the whiskey or what it was, but anyway.
You sound like Wolfman Jack.
Your bug-eyed buddy from across the sea.
There you go.
I'll never hear the last of that, Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I may have started.
I can do a better Emperor Roscoe than you, though.
Go on then.
All right.
Nothing like him.
Yes, it is.
Matthew
Yes,
McConaughey.
it is.
No, he sounds more like Wolfman than that. And that is very true. Your bug-eyed buddy from across the sea, the Emperor Roscoe. By the way, that's the other thing I've got to say thank you for this week. There's a lovely video on the Emperor Roscoe fan page. Hi to Stefan, who's just joined us.
Where you been?
I don't know where he's been. You should send a note to Rachel. You're late.
Is that our Stefan?
Yeah.
Yes, it's our Stefan.
He's the hairy one.
Yes. The Emperor Roscoe put a new video up on his fan page on Facebook, and he's only wearing an RTI baseball cap.
In his
Oh, go
studio.
away.
No, he's actually out in a restaurant.
Oh, I thought that was in
great.
the studio.
Yeah, he's actually out with this very attractive young lady.
Oh.
Mr. Roscoe, what are you doing?
Naughty Emperor.
Yeah, Naughty Emperor. He was out with this lovely young lady. He was talking to some celebs as well and decided to shoot this video and put his RTI baseball cap on. What a nice guy.
Oh, yes.
Good on you,
Can I
mate.
just pull
Good on
rank
you.
and upset him again? Because I've been in his studio in Hollywood. He hasn't.
I know. I just have to go to dinner with him every year.
Oh my God, you
Yeah,
two,
I
you're
know.
having a
He
peeing
just cooks
contest
for
all
me in
over the
Hollywood.
show.
Here we go. Anyway, Stefan says, hi, everyone. Thanks
Hello.
for the greetings. My love to Rachel.
What's everybody in love with Rachel for?
I don't know.
There you go.
Oh, that got
Lord, what was that, Rachel?
my left ear is all wet now.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
It's
you're
Rachel
welcome.
from Australia. Do you understand
Yeah,
this?
can you understand that?
Yeah. That's why everybody's loving with Rachel, because Australians are just really, really nice people. They're
Right.
all-
You
true. I must
everybody's
speak on
talking
behalf
to
of
me.
Criminals.
Oh, criminals.
We've all been arrested and sent out there to die.
Yes, the lovely young Dorothy's there. Happy birthday to
To you.
The other
Happy
day.
birthday
Happy
to you.
birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday, dear
Happy
Dorothy.
birthday.
Happy birthday
Happy
to
birthday
you.
to you.
That's for the other day. I'm not going there, Steve. I'll get into trouble. It's Archie! And no jokes about dummies. The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh were introduced to Archie, the newborn son of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And I've got to say, for all the press coverage about them, I don't like them, they're not talking to each other. They looked in each other's eyes, and the camera doesn't lie at that point, and you'll vouch for it. They are in love.
Well, of course they are.
They
Well,
sure are.
they've
And they're
had-
also in that giddy, just become parents phase before they realise what a nightmare that's actually going to turn out to be.
Why? What's the problem? Right, I don't understand, Rach.
They're besotted with this child.
Yeah, I
They're
get
besotted.
that bit, but you said there was a negative afterwards.
Yeah, why
Oh,
do you
yeah,
think
when
they've got
it's-
marital problems already, Rach?
No, it's 2 days after they've had this baby. They're in love with this baby. They're going to realise that, children are the devil. But,
Why?
that's okay.
Why is Harry going to think the child's a bit of a little sod?
Because they said he's got a lovely temperament. He's 2 days old. Of course, he's got a lovely temperament. He does nothing but sleep. So,
Right. So that's not going to
and
that's not
soon
going to change for the next 16 years because Harry will be asleep.
Harry will be asleep.
Yes. Meghan will be
Harry, big Harry.
Big Harry will be asleep, and Meghan will be waking up all the time. It's normal.
Oh God, Uncle
Do you
Eric,
like
really?
babies?
Sorry,
Do you like babies?
I do.
I hate babies. No, that sounds like eat them.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, babies are very nice. It's when they get to be like 4 and 5 years old, up till about 26. They become
No, my son is the most beautiful over this, and he's very honest at 20 years old, well, 21 nearly. And he will say, at 7 years old, he would have disowned himself.
I think actually
He's a really good lad. He
I
really
think
is.
most children should be born at 27 with their own house, their own car, a full-time job, and money in the bank.
Well,
Yes,
that's true.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, Archie is short for Archibald, a German name, meaning genuine, bold, and brave.
It is
I
not
think
bow
it's
legs and
lovely.
no
I
hair.
think it's a cute name.
I think that is
it's
cute.
cute.
And it's
That was
very-
really good. You
was.
just ignored that.
I did. Meanwhile, Harrison, Rachel, is
Yes.
of Aboriginal origin and means son of
Son of
Harry.
Henry.
Henry or
Or
Harry.
Henry.
Yeah.
Henry or Harry.
Which is
Yes.
kind of cute.
And Henrys are the best hoovers you could get, aren't they, Rach?
Yes.
That's true. They even smile at you.
They do.
By the way, I got his name wrong. Who's travelling the world? It's Trevor that's travelling the world because he's just become one of our fans on You Now as well.
Is he clever, Trevor?
Oh, yeah.
It's clever, Trevor, and he was a satellite man.
Oh.
He retired. He was into
Whoa.
satellite stuff.
Well, now he's seen
Whoa.
the light.
As
You
in
mean
he was in
a
space?
man?
No, we were on the receiving end of the space signals, not on the transmission.
So you're a receiver, not a giver.
No, actually, I was on a giver as well because I was on the transmission end as well. Being a satellite broadcaster for many years. Oh God, this is getting silly. Anyway, great
Rachel
news.
rescuers.
Yeah, great news about the baby. Fantastic. Have a great time, you guys. And actually, it's a bit of feel-good factor that we needed at the time as we now go back to the negative stuff. Armed police were scrambled to Seven Kings Mosque in London. There's no arrest been made just yet. But an idiot went in there with a blank firing handgun and shot it. Now, you, sir, are the... Actually, if you'd have got shot and killed, it'd have been your own fault.
I think you're absolutely right. Somebody who takes that kind of chance really is taking that kind of chance and deserves everything they get.
Would have been shot in America for sure.
He would have done.
Yeah.
Would have been shot probably here too. If they say put that down and he didn't do it right away, whether it's fake or not, he probably would have been shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there is an important thing. The police are actually asking anybody who's got any information to contact the borough officers, and the number that you need, all you need to dial is 101, or tap it on your keypad or whatever you're doing, and you quote 8585 9 May. 8585 9 May, and that's the reference number for the shooting. If you've got any notions about it, let the police know. Absolutely wonderful. We'll be coming on to Danny Baker in a moment, as we're already being asked, but we will in a second. But first of all, we have to say, it's never happened before. Never.
What?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Robbie's going to be into this. Lee won't know.
I have no idea what it means, really.
4 teams, English teams.
what?
I say again,
Football.
English
Football.
teams in the European competition. Notice this. English teams in the final of the European competitions. Is there an omen?
Are the 4 teams in Britain? Who are they?
Arsenal and Chelsea. Now,
Don't swear.
Arsenal and Chelsea.
You just said it again.
Arsenal and Chelsea.
That again.
Now, they're only playing in the second tier.
That's a swear.
Yeah, it's a swear, isn't it, right?
Now,
Yep.
I used to
Is
live
that
next to
anything to do
Arsenal
with my
Stadium.
colonoscopy?
I used to live in next to Arsenal Stadium,
Ooh. How could you be a gooner?
and I was walking by the Arsenal whatever.
Can we stop saying the arse
stadium,
word?
and I was singing in my head, "You never walk alone."
That's Liverpool.
I know. That's why I did it.
Exactly. Oh, good girl.
Right,
Anyway, so
Arsenal.
And Chelsea, they're playing in the second tier, not the top tier, the second tier.
Is it like a cake?
No. Anyway, they're playing in the Europa League final, which is for teams that don't do quite so well as other teams.
So they're not really done very well at all.
Well,
They're in the second tier, one's got a swear word for a name.
Yeah, they're just average.
Yeah, that's right.
In the top tier, you've got both Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur.
That's a magazine. That's a comic.
Come on, you Spurs.
So hang on a minute. The top tier is the like the head, and so the second tier is like the Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
That had to come out somewhere. No, sorry, that's bad.
Arsenal's in the bottom tier. Is that what you just said?
Yes, basically.
Yes.
So Spurs actually went to Holland to play Ajax in their second leg.
Did they have a cap?
And in actual fact, in N17 at the Spurs Stadium, they'd lost 2-0. So they had to win get at least 3 goals in the opposition's
net.
Yes.
Goalie bit thing.
Yes. And they did it.
They stuck the thing in the what's it?
For 3 times.
Whoa!
And it was like Fergie time. Because
she was there as well.
No, because they got the third goal they got just in the extra time after 90 minutes. It was I'm sitting going...
Yeah. Was that exciting?
Right in the Arsenal.
Right in the Arsenal they got them.
Rachel, that's disgusting.
That's a swear.
Dear. So anyway, we think this is an omen that the English teams in the European competition,
who are not doing very well,
who are winning everything,
Arsenal's in the bottom.
This is an omen because we've had the reports in from the EU no deal thing, which was on the BBC,
and the pound's fallen.
But I don't think it's anything to do with that at all.
Of course it is.
No, for me the pound falling is good.
Why?
Oh, because Slovak gets.
Am I better off now then?
Yes.
If the pound falls?
Yes.
We all are.
If the pound goes up, the currency here is down.
Oh no, I've been doing it wrong all these years.
Oh, you despair, don't you? As I keep saying, boys and girls, I'm sorry. I found him on a street corner begging for 6pence. You take
Not for 6pence. I didn't beg for that. You gave me that.
But it went down, so you only gave him a shilling.
So anyway, on this Brexit documentary, there was absolutely shocking footage emerged of EU officials in a panic.
Doing swearing,
saying naughty things about the British government, the British Parliament.
Big techs.
I'm not even going to say that arrogant German's name, who I think...
Flip and flop and stuck.
Yeah, him. I mean, he was just arrogant beyond belief. And then goes on to say, we need to look after the British citizens and get rid of the two-party system.
That's what Hitler said.
Funny that, isn't it? Funny that.
Oh, you don't know. He might have been having a problem with his Arsenal.
He would do if I was there.
He'd have a boot in it.
Yes, well, anyway, sir, that's all you're getting from me. Wait till after the European elections and see how strong you are then, you weak, lily-livered thing. Because you'll get nowhere fast, young man.
Yeah.
Ooh, them's fighting words.
They are. 2 surveys have come out this week, one of which is a really positive thing about social media and actually saying we shouldn't panic. And equally at the same time, as per usual, another one's come out. And I'm not just appalled, I'm almost angry. And I don't do angry.
You do?
Not proper angry.
I've made you angry.
You
Not
do.
angry.
You do
I've made
incensed
you
and
very
enraged.
No. Trust me, you've not seen me angry. The last time, I can tell you the last time I was angry,
Yeah.
I was actually doing some DIY work on a house, which meant pulling out one of those old like council-built cubby holes they used to have in the kitchen.
They're nice.
What were they called, cold stores or something?
Yeah, something like cold store, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. And they were brick built. I mean, they were really...
You don't get that in packets now in
that's
Tesco's.
true. And I've got a huge, great jemmy in my hand, one of those big metal things. And I'm like, pull it out. And this bloke really...
A what?
Jemmy.
He pulled it out, Rachel.
Jemmy.
And gave it a tug.
so this bloke standing by the door, and he really wound me up, sweet rotten. And I
You
said,
didn't hit it with your Jemmy.
I said, if you don't go now, I'm going to hit you with this, and I threw it on the floor. It bounced up and embedded itself in the ceiling. I was so angry. Oh dear. Anyway, why this has annoyed me, this other survey, is this poor girl has come out and helped people because the abuse that she's been getting on social media because she's disabled is just horrendous. It's past horrendous. Whoever these people are, they need to be chucked on a boat, shoved out to sea and pulled the plug out. Because you don't say to somebody on YouTube, because you're disabled, why don't you go and drink bleach?
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
That is shameful.
It is beyond shameful.
This is the shameful face of social media.
It is horrific. It all seems... Every time you get this, it's Facebook that gets it in the neck. But in this case, it's all YouTube. It's not Facebook at all. Now, Facebook has said, they've come out and said, oh, we don't do all of this thing and we don't like this and we don't... That's a load of codswallop. Our community standards. But I have noticed one thing this week.
Yes, dear.
I'm so happy about this.
Yeah?
They're going to stop the bad Bitcoin adverts.
Bad ones.
Oh, so all those adverts where you see the Bitcoin things come up, and I would report them to Facebook because most of the Bitcoin is an absolute con. The money goes back to organised crime. It's not proper banking, and you're probably going to lose your shirt anyway. And
we don't get those. We don't get those ads.
No, because I think it tends to be where you live. In the same way, there was one this week. And I said, no, hold on a minute. There's no point in trying to sell those kind of hearing aids in Slovakia because we get them on the health system for free. And the girl said, no, you can't. I said, yes, you can. She said, don't be silly. You don't know what you're talking about. I said, yes, I do, because I got one. Because of my tinnitus. I've got one of these devices. It cuts out the tinnitus.
What, for free?
Yes.
I want one.
I think the more pressing thing there is the fact that Eric's now of a vintage where he's getting ads for hearing aids.
Oh, thank you. Very droll, dear.
Yeah. He was so nice
Sorry.
at the beginning of the show as well.
I was really nice. I was. What's the whistling on the audio this week?
It's me, I'm bored.
Shouldn't be whistling.
It's the opening theme to Star Trek, and you should enjoy it.
Unless it's my phone's.
There's a fan on somewhere. I wonder if it's that.
Could be.
There is a fan.
There is a fan.
You can't hear it because you've got your things on.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the fans in the building.
It's one of the fans in the building.
There you go, Steve.
We have some fans. One's behind me now.
Yeah, Trevor's a fan as well now, which is lovely.
Is he the one in Germany?
No, Trevor is the one going around the world.
Oh, he's the one. Is he in a boat?
I don't know.
What are you doing? What are you going around? See, he's not. He pretends. I ask the questions that matter. What are you going around the world in, Trevor? Is it an aeroplane? Because if it is, you're cheating. If it's a boat, then it's all right. If you're swimming, that'd be brilliant.
That's true. Duke says, "Hello, everybody. Hope you are all very well. Are we all right?
Yeah, we're all right. Tell him to get on writing this thing that he's supposed to be writing for us. For the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com. I've just remembered I've not said it.
38 minutes.
God.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sniffing.
I've just got to do some radio training, boys and girls.
Okay, darling.
This is for Susanna's benefit.
Yeah, for your
Susanna.
You cannot nod on the radio.
You can if you want.
Yes,
nobody
can.
knows
She's on
about
Facebook.
All these
She's on
Great
Facebook.
lesson.
She can nod. Nodding is
Okay.
perfectly acceptable.
Oh, right. About 12 kilohertz. No, can't hear it, Steve. But we will have a look.
Has he measured the whistling?
No, but he's got very good hearing. That I know.
Has he got very big ears?
No. We move on. Danny Baker has been fired, and it was his fault. He admitted so. I listened to him yesterday, and he said it was a stupid, unthinking gag.
But he also said that the BBC have thrown him under the lorry, and that is a load of rubbish. Danny, you were the one who chose to represent our royal family, having given birth to a monkey outside a hospital, thinking that was incredibly funny, when it was probably so racist, it was outrageous, and
But
anybody
not,
would...
If you know Danny, he hasn't got a racist bone in his body.
Well, it doesn't matter, the man's an idiot for doing it
He
anyway.
he was an idiot, and I kind of... This is so BBC They have no idea how to manage situations. They only.
How can you manage a monkey representing the newborn child?
I agree. There's no defence for it because he shouldn't have done it, and he should have apologised even more profusely than he did. But the BBC are totally black and white. If they feel that they can't manage something, which they can't, do you know what they do? Chuck you out.
They chuck me out. I've been banned by the BBC for saying that farmers were rich. But Danny Baker should be banned for having, even if he has no racism in his soul, then he should be banned for having complete lack of judgment.
The trouble with...
Plus, you have to actually have a bit of... That has to be a little bit premeditated too, because you have to research that and find that image and have that thought in your head while you're trying to find it.
Absolutely,
so,
Rachel.
It wasn't a spur of the moment gag. This was a thought out thing that he did, and it was poorly thought out.
Yeah, but as Steve quite rightly says, but if both parents had been white, would the gag still have been unacceptable? And
yeah, of course it would.
It's the
but
day
in a different way.
It's the year that we live in. If this had happened in the 1960s, it would have been a prank. But because we're in 2019, it's racist. It's just the different world we live in.
No, that is wrong. That is wrong. It was wrong in the 60s to do it.
Love thy neighbour?
It doesn't matter.
Love thy neighbour?
Yeah, well, all
no,
right,
you're picking on a baby, and you don't pick on babies.
No, I agree you don't pick on babies.
Yeah.
But the standards were very... I'm not judging the statement. I'm saying that the way in which people approach life in 2019 is diametrically opposed, that was a big word for me, diametrically opposed to that which happened in the 1960s and 70s.
Yeah, but we
maybe,
live in
but
this age.
the question...
We're in this
the
age.
question
Danny
is...
Baker's in this age.
Yeah, but he's not.
Well, that's his fault.
Would it be acceptable? Would it be acceptable if they were both white? Well, they're not, are they?
No.
Thank you, Rach.
No, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but I'm saying he is one of those, a bit like Freddie Starr in many ways, that live in a different age to where we are today.
Well, then he shouldn't have a voice in this age because it's the wrong kind of voice to give. I saw the picture. And I ummed and ahed whether I should publish that picture on the Consumer Watch Foundation, and I decided not to publish it on the Consumer Watch Foundation, but I put it open for debate within the group. Yeah. And the reason, because it is absolutely offensive to the majority of right-thinking people in this world. The only people who will agree with him are the people who go and shoot up mosques.
Right, the most important persons are the listeners. Considering the amount of pictures that have been shared on social media and between individuals, Danny's posting was quite tame, and he's right.
Who said that?
Dave.
What did he say? Say it again.
You were not paying attention, were you?
I was laughing at Suzanne.
What?
But this wasn't shared between individuals, Dave. This wasn't shared between individuals. It was... This is a person with a large audience. It wasn't one individual sending an image to another.
No, he was on Twitter at the time. He didn't say it on the radio. So the balance.
No, I know, because the radio doesn't work in pictures. I get that.
Very good.
He's much like nodding.
Yes.
But I don't understand where this pictures between individuals statement comes from, because it wasn't. It was public.
If you look at the Facebook's public as well, to all intents and purposes, and some of I've actually reported and unfriended people who put the most ridiculously stupid images about Prince Archie on social media, and some of them were just obscene, especially the one of the Queen holding the black baby. It was just wrong.
Where's the difference in that? I agree with you, that was wrong, but so was this one.
I'm not
because the
disagreeing
illusion
with it.
is to the fact that because there is a different race involved in this marriage, that they will have a monkey for a baby. That is exactly what it's saying.
Dave's hit the nail on the head. How many times did spitting image cross the line back in the day? Dozens of times. It would not.
Yeah, but listen,
you couldn't play
Uncle
it today.
Eric.
Yes,
of course you couldn't.
Uncle Eric always says, and he's quite right, that the oldies living in the past with music. You know how you're always talking about that? Uncle Eric,
Yep.
and they won't get with the times with the music. This is absolutely no different.
I'm
said,
there.
Rach.
I'm there. It's a different day, is what we're talking about. And back in the day, this would not have caused offence in the same level as it has
It
today.
would have perhaps caused offence within the ethnicity of the country. It wouldn't have caused offence within the white population, and that's why the laws changed in the 70s.
The law changed.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. But I mean, it's the fact of the matter is, we're not back in the day. This isn't 1950, and it is offensive.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I mean, I can argue the opposite side of the fence with us sitting here talking, having fought off a government who said you can't do that because the law in 1989 said so and so. So I found a way around the law and said sod you. Because this
But you weren't offending
But you don't
anybody,
want to
Uncle Eric,
say
were you?
racist
You were
things.
just.
Well, I was offending some people who said that you shouldn't speak English, but that's their
I
fault.
know.
But I do also agree with Dave. The world has become too politically correct, and we've lost the imbalance. And there should be a little bit of a chill out, calm down.
Yes, they should, but not in this particular situation.
Yeah,
there absolutely should be more
exactly,
chill out.
yeah.
We have a group called
But anyway,
Madness.
do you know what? Danny
But-
Baker won't worry because he will have a job very, very soon.
And what a sad world it is, then.
No,
Yeah.
he will have a job because he will have learnt his lesson because Danny's like that. He won't be on the money he's on now, that's
He's
for
been
sure.
buffeting around the edges of fame for so long now that this actually should put a coffin in the nail of his... I mean, the nail in the coffin of his career.
Either way,
Either way, that says a lot for your thing. I'm going to do this through slightly gritted teeth, because on one side I fully agree, on the other side I don't. The government is to pay £200 million in the UK for safe cladding after the Grenfell Tower tragedy. And this is the same as always. It's the government that has to do it. The government doesn't have to do it. It should be down to the people that own the property to do it, not the government. It's the property owner, the people that bought the house. I'm sorry, if you didn't do due diligence, when you buy a house that's going to fall down a cliff and it falls down a cliff, it is not the duty of the government to bail you out.
But I think it's a council house building.
No, not
No?
all of it. No, some
No?
of it's private.
All right, okay.
Yeah, it's actually run by a housing association, or
Ah,
was. And I agree, something should have been sorted out. There should be legislation to stop this kind of stuff being sold in the first place. But you can't say, oops, I've done something wrong. Give me money, Mr. Government, to make it right again.
Yeah, but that isn't the way it's happened, is it, really? What's happened is, for once, the government has stood up and said, we will do something for the people of Britain. And it is protecting the people. That's what the government is there to do, to protect us. And they will take action against the owners. Like, there are plenty of court cases going on at the moment and new legislation being brought in. But right now, the government has stood up and said, we will protect the people of Britain. Good on you, government. It's one of the few things you've done right in the last 50 years.
Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? Because the ripple effect of that is enormous. It's brought in legislation here.
Yeah. And it's not just one government that have lived with this legislation. It's all types of government. All types of government. Martin's just put a comment up. I remember my nan used to call me a little monkey when I was growing up. Plus others used to use it to refer to their children as little monkeys. And here in Slovakia, we do the same. I will often be heard calling somebody, well, in Lee's case, it's Velke. In other people's case, it's Malo for little. Velke or pizza. He's a big monkey. He's like an ape. Because he is.
But Jeremy Clarkson's known as an ape. He's known as a gorilla. He's known as all sorts of things. But the difference is the ethnicity and the ethnic connection that you are applying this phrase to. That is where the problem lies.
Yeah. Steve says if the government said the cladding is safe, then they should pay for it. In which case, Steve, that means your party, the Labour Party, will have to cough some money up because it was the same law when your party were in power.
Instead of trying to wrap a duffel coat round it.
Thank you.
Yes.
So there you go. We're going to try and crank some news in because we've only got 10 minutes left, boys and girls. A woman who was locked out of her pension.
Incredible.
81 years old. She had £5 in her purse because her pension was frozen. She's committed suicide, which is tragic, because she was too proud to ask her family for money. And one of the reasons I wanted this story here is to say to you, the people who are still very able-bodied can wander around, whether you're disabled or not, I don't care. You can still get around. And the fact is that if you know somebody who is in trouble, don't give them money. Older generations do not like being given money. They hate it. And they won't ask for money. But they will accept some food with a bunch of flowers.
Why was the pension frozen? Why was an 81-year-old woman's pension
I have
frozen?
no idea, Lee. And again, you can blame the government as much as you like, but it's not the government. It's the civil servants that screw things up. And those civil servants work with governments of all types for decades. And it's so wrong just to say, oh, well, Lee was the Minister of Pensions, it's his fault.
Can I just say very, very quickly that actually if you keep an eye on the Consumer Watch Foundation, actually go to it now, because there's a story there where civil servants are being blamed, and it's from a Freedom of Information request by somebody in the House of Lords, that the civil servants, as far as maintenance for children, have killed 75, or caused the deaths of 75,000 people in the last 15 years. We also have evidence, which we've published, of 6 people dying in the last 9 days because of the way that the family courts have treated them.
Yep.
We are also having, this is the thing to watch out for, information in the Consumer Watch Foundation of a very, very important bloke indeed in these kind of channels, showing the millions of people who have suffered at the hands of social workers. We're after the social workers. We will get them.
Do you know what I once said in a court? If a social worker had one more brain cell, they'd have the brain of an amoeba.
I think you're very right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we should point out that we're not just talking about all social workers.
No, we're not.
We're talking about a select few who are stupid.
Read what we're publishing. We're actually making a film with Faye Goodwin, who is an award-winning filmmaker. The CWF is working with her on exposing things like this. This is shameful.
Indeed. Some more comments in one from Martin. I've been doing a lot of work with people to get them to speak up. That's why I've written the piece. Here we go for the plug for the Consumer Watch Foundation.
Who's this?
Martin Duke.
Yeah.
And Steve says that, but they work under government rules. No, Steve, the civil servants work under their own rules.
Well, no, they have a certain set of rules, and they interpret within that. Yeah,
it's the same as in radio terms. There is the Broadcasting Act, and the agency Ofcom, and they say so in this word, interpret the Act. And so it's the civil servants that do everything, Steve. So, sorry. And if you want to blame one government, all the governments, all 3 major parties in the UK are absolutely guilty because of the cladding around properties, because it's been there since all 3 parties have had a part to play in government.
Steve thinks everything's the government's fault. He just likes that man who eats cats.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know.
Who eats cats?
And the other thing is that
Jeremy Corbyn eats cats.
Yeah, Martin's absolutely
You'll have to
right.
explain that off air.
Martin said
people
there.
eat dogs. Some people in Slovakia eat dogs.
Don't.
I'm not going to mention.
Gordy, shut your ears, Gordy.
Yeah, don't listen. And quite rightly, Martin said there is still a stigma around people wanting help or opening up to get help, and that's true. That's why I said you be the big guy. Take them round, a Red Cross parcel, as I call them, with a bunch of flowers. They won't have a problem because it's got a bunch of flowers with it. Gets everybody off the hook, and everything's marvellous. So just do like we used to.
You know what you do? I tell you, this works. This works because I've done it.
Go on.
What you do is you potter around their kitchen, you find their electric bill, you sneak it out very surreptitiously, and you go pay it.
Absolutely, and you can do that. They will let you do it. Sugar, we are really out of time. Jeremy Corbyn sank the Titanic. Well, he's old enough, isn't he?
Well, there's a hole in everything else he does.
And he ate all the cats in steerage.
No. Actually, Steve, you're wrong. All of these issues, like the Titanic and everything else, was all down to 1970 CB radio. It was all there. It was them that did all the trouble. I don't believe a word of it. One for H. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon chappie, has unveiled plans to send a spaceship to the moon. It's beautiful.
I know. I'm so excited. Although it's unmanned, so that means I can't go.
Oh, no.
But he's sending this lunar unmanned craft because the next thing he's going to do is send a manned craft.
Yeah.
But why it's exciting is that he's saying that they're on schedule to be able to accomplish it by 2024.
Yeah.
Which is very cool because they're coming from a place of no tech, but they are also working hand in hand with NASA.
Well, they're going to get a load of help from NASA, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So they'll make it, and then they'll
Why
do more lunar flights.
Sorry?
Why do we want to send a rocket to the moon again?
Because he's saying that we should get the moon as a colony of Earth.
Populate it, yeah.
Populate it. We move on very quickly. Sorry, Rach. David Beckham, we won't discuss it, has been disqualified from driving for 6 months.
Naughty boy.
After using his mobile phone whilst at the wheel, and his posh celebrity solicitor couldn't get him off it. This is funny. The Binance exchange was hacked and they stole bitcoins, your fault, worth $41 million. $41 million of cryptocurrency in a heist. Do I believe that? No. It's just somebody... Look, they hacked in...
You said we couldn't discuss it.
They hacked in and got to the hot wallet and nicked the money. See what I mean? Hacking.
Yeah, but it's only a matter of bartering. That was bartering. That was, all we have for money is bits of paper. They've got crypto and we've got bits of paper. What's the use of that? It's an IOU.
Steve's looking forward to watching the video after the show. The craft is... hang on.
Hey, who?
Unmanned, then maybe we can send Theresa May up. No.
Steve, give it a rest, will you?
Yeah.
Steve, honestly.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Steve, after the European elections, it'll all be different. So just chill out till then, and then Theresa will get whatever she wants from the European Parliament.
Can't send Corbyn because he's stuck to his front garden
do you know
fence.
what? I think Jeremy ought to get an invite to the EU now.
The EU now?
Yeah, they got lots of cats there.
No, because after...
Why is this obsession with cats?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, Uncle Lee, I'll tell you.
I'll wait for it. Because after the election, he would never get invited. Because the socialists won't be in power then, you see. That's controversial, isn't it? Computing in schools is on a deep decline. That's because they've got idiots in schools who couldn't put a plug on a piece of cable.
It's because we're being taken over by robots and the education system decided to stop it.
No, it's because you've got all lovies in there that say, oh, we should read books, you know.
Well, we should. Audio books.
I'm just as bored with this topic as I am with Steve about Theresa May.
Right, okay. Australia's latest £50 note comes with a big blunder on the side of it.
It's hilarious. There's a whole bunch of words written underneath, and it's a nice sentiment. But they've misspelt responsibility, and one of the I's is missing. And these have already gone out. These are gone. They're in the world.
They'll be worth a fortune in years to come.
Be
worth a mint. Hamleys has been sold to an Indian company. Mukesh Ambani has bought the big play toy from the Chinese. And I think finally, we'll do this one. Raspberry Ripple, Rach?
Yep.
Chocolate chip?
Yep.
Maggot?
No. I know we Australians eat weird things, but I'm drawing the line.
A South African food maker has come up with a, harvestable. It's one of these new eco-friendly things, and he's made maggot ice cream. Now, who in there right?
Protein. It's full of protein, to be fair, but ew.
Ugh.
Yeah, but they're dead.
Well, of course they are. They're cooked.
Yeah, they'll be crispy. Nothing wrong with a bit of crispy.
They're frozen. No, they'll be soggy because they're frozen.
No, but they'll be crispy because they are frozen.
Crispy, soggy.
But they're... Ooh. That's even worse. Yuck.
Yuck.
They'll fall out in your gob. Yuck.
Anyway, we'd better get out of the way and make way for Steve, who's up in a couple of minutes' time. He stopped driving his train, honest. He doesn't do his radio show while he's driving his train. And we'd better get out of here before he throws us out and comes through with his whistle blowing and getting us out. So, Rach, what are you up to this weekend?
I'm going to make lots of candles, still on the side hustle. And it's Mother's Day here on Sunday.
Oh.
So I'm going out to lunch with my friends, and we're all going to sit around and talk about mothers, I guess.
Oh. Isn't that nice? Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely? What are you up to?
I've no idea.
Oh, in which case you can come and put the battery in the bike with me tomorrow.
I'll put anything in, whatever you want me to, if you like me to.
Ew!
Ew! And Susanna, what are you up to?
I'm actually going to see a fashion show of my cousin.
A fashion show.
What sort of fashion?
She does recycled fashion. So-
Recycle things, like dustbins.
No, recycled clothes. She recycles clothes.
Oh, right.
And makes them clothes and makes them into new pieces.
Take pictures and send them to the consumerwatchfoundation.com and tell us all about it. Write a little piece for us.
Okay.
300 words
Rach,
maximum.
Rach.
And then we'll put
Rach.
it
Yeah.
and make a
Rach.
payment.
Yeah.
Can you say
Yeah.
goodbye, Rach?
Bye,
Goodbye,
Rach.
Rach.
Can you
Bye,
say
Rach.
goodbye? Oh, no, not you first. Susanna first.
Bye, Rach. Or bye,
Rach.
everyone.
Bye, mate.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
And that was another version of Postcard from Poprad for another week. We'll see you the same time next week. This is Radio Tatras International.
The station of the stars. RTI.